Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right, baby, welcome to the Gridiron. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking awesome. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And if you want to help support my channel out, description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I've got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, all the way down the bottom of the description box, you got another link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants to Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,400 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. We're growing every day. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I'm putting stuff in that group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants to Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join. It will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, Mr. Mara, gave some encouraging words for Schoen and Daboll. I mean, so that way they're not, so much, if you want to say, quote unquote, crapping their pants, right? I mean, they, have a little, I mean, obviously after the season's over, well, they talk every day. I mean, it's not like, Mr. Mara John doesn't come in. I mean, they're talking. You saw on Hard Knocks, Mr. Mara pops in. He's not sitting in there. He's not like a Jerry Jones or nothing like that, but he pops in. They talk all the time, every day. There's no secrets, obviously, or anything, nothing like that. But after the season's over, they're going to have a powwow, sit down and talk and everything. But he gave them, some encouraging words. It just, so difficult, obviously, to find, the right combo. But it's also so difficult not only to find the right combo, but it's so difficult, every 2-3 years, just get rid of another coach, I mean, that's so easy to say, but you can honestly say without a question, without a shadow of a doubt, okay, that Danny Dimes is not a Brian Daboll QB. I mean, Hard Knocks revealed a lot of things. A lot of things we didn't see, and because everything was all little small snippets of here and there and all. However, right, and this kind of a little blew my mind a little bit, but they were talking about Jaden Daniels, and would you trade up for Jaden Daniels or however the phrasing it went, and Daboll's like, hell yeah, It kind of a little bit blew my mind because obviously, once again, everything you get is little snippets. They're trying to condense months worth of stuff into, I don't know, each episode was like 38, 39, maybe 40 minutes long. So they condensed everything down. The thing was, it was a little confusing, or, misleading or whatever to me anyway, because when Daboll was interviewing the quarterbacks and had them drawing stuff up and everything like that, and Daboll's firing stuff away at him, and all right, what if we change this up and blah blah blah, and like Drake May was there. Well, then I'm going. They're doing quarters. I'm going over here. I'm checking out over here. We're going blah 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 blah. So they're going back and forth with all that stuff, and sound like May was kind of on top of it and everything. Maybe McCarthy was on top of it and all. But when Daniels, he was asking Daniels, it was kind of like a little, and one of the things, this was months ago, and once again, I'm an idiot, so forgive me, but Daboll asked Daniels something. What would they do if they were in quarter, or what would they do if the safety came into the bow, something like that. And Daniels kind of turned to him and like he didn't really know. he's like, throw a touchdown pass. Good answer. I like the attitude. Okay. But it was kind of like that. Just seemed like that wasn't really, I could have said that. I'll complete a pass. Is that right? So it sounded like, once again, everything's small snippets. Got to take everything with a grain of salt. But it just seemed like, Daniel's answer was not really what, maybe he was kind of looking for. But I'll tell you what, Daboll's like, would you trade? Would you want to get if Daniels falls to us, or do you want to see if we can trade up for Daniel, something like that? Whatever, however the wording went, and Daboll's like, oh yeah, and you can kind of see, oh yeah, Jaden's all that and a bag of Doritos. Let me tell you what, guys, so this the offense we got going on now. I mean, and now. Talking with Mara, giving his sticking with Schoen and Daboll, right? The thing is now is with the absence of Thomas. I mean, you realize. I mean, the Eagles played 5 games because going into that game, the Giants played 6, the Eagles played 5 because the Eagles had their bye week. But the Eagles had 11 sacks. After 5 games, 2 sacks a game. They had 582 sacks against the Giants in that one game. I mean, it's like they look like, I don't know. I thought it was like a combination of the 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens. Just kind of, I thought they had like extra people on the field or something like that. I'm like, did they got like 14 people on the field or what? 1, 2, 3. I'm sure. I mean, I'm like, where's where's his pass rush coming from? What I mean, I thought we'd have 8 sacks. They had 11 in the first 5 games. It's like, so now the problem is that it seems like maybe with the offense is Daboll's trying to accommodate Danny shell shock dimes, right? Because we did a pretty decent job of keeping him upright the first 6 games or so. Right. Of course, then we lost Andrew Thomas. Now we might have a problem with trying to keep him upright so he's not as shell shocked. Right. So it means we're going to water down or condense. I mean, if Daboll can't think he can't stay in the pocket for more like half a second without getting his head ripped off, I mean, there's not going to be many balls being launched down the field. So everything is going to start getting more and more condensed. I mean, so, the thing is Daboll's playbook, is it like ripped in half and he only has, the first half of the playbook, the passes that are 10 yards and under? I mean, we're going to have to accommodate Danny Dimes. I mean, and you put Drew Lock in there and he wasn't much better. Actually, I don't even think he was better. I think he might have been a little worse. Was he 3 out of 8 for 6 yards? I'd like to see DeVito in there. Maybe he might get a shot maybe later on toward the end of the season. Maybe. We're going to go over, an instance or so that might wind up happening. Because if Schoen and Daboll are going to be here, right? You saw what Drew Lock did. I mean, I don't know if he's going to be here next year. Danny Dimes, I mean, you can almost, right? So can Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan be not the starting quarterback? Can he be the backup quarterback going forward? Get the dude some reps in there and all. Anyway, problem with him is the nice thing about Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan is he's very safe with the ball and he doesn't throw many interceptions. The problem with Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan is that he's very safe with the ball and he doesn't throw interceptions. He doesn't, obviously, first thing he doesn't want to go in there is just start throwing the ball left and right, throwing 5 interceptions, and all that. He doesn't want to be the reasons why the Giants lose the game. However, he's not, most part, the reason why they're winning the game either is because he's just like too protective with the ball. I mean, he's trying to make sure that if I throw the ball, it's not getting picked off. If I throw the ball, the guy's, he's not trying to gun it in there, or sometimes you gotta, but he might be being a little too safe with the ball. The thing is that obviously you hear a lot of things about like Stafford. Maybe this might be his last season with the Rams. Like the Giants, maybe somehow, maybe I think this is his last season. Obviously, the Rams could re-sign him, but I think he's a free agent. So if the Giants could go after him, maybe bring him in, he's not going to command a ton of money because he's getting up there in age. But I mean, if you can get him in here, right? Have them draft a quarterback. I've seen this all over the place. Bring in a quarterback. Let Daboll groom his quarterback of the future, right? Let Stafford go out there, right? And lead the charges, right? Lead the group, and have the quarterback heir apparent on the sideline, right? Instead of just throwing them out to the wolves. The thing is obviously you have to where the Giants are going to draft. I mean, right now I know, long way to go. But I think right now, we're number 8. A lot of quarterbacks coming out. The other thing is too is that if one of them, I was going to say at the beginning of the season, if Carolina stunk, which they do, they don't need a quarterback. However, how wrong I can be, I don't think they're going to be sticking around with their guy very long. But you look at like somebody like New England. Let me check this out right now. Because like New England, they stink. They're horrible. Mr. Mayo might be bye-bye after 1 year. But they don't need a quarterback. Right? They're not drafting a quarterback. So there might be some teams in front of the Giants who may not need a quarterback. Let's see here. NFL 2025 NFL draft order. Let's see here. Patriots hold the number 1 overall pick. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, the Patriots. I tell you what, the Patriots are lucky. They were lucky they won the week 1 against the Bengals because they could have easily lost that one. But anyway, the Browns, okay, they're not pick number 2. They need a quarterback. The Panthers did not need a quarterback. However, they're going. I think they're going to probably pivot back where they might need a quarterback. Tennessee needs a quarterback. The Raiders. So 4. Jaguars, no. The Jets, don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Aaron Rodgers or not, but there's probably at least 4 teams or so in front of the Giants that really need quarterbacks. So now the Giants could, right, try to, if there's somebody there, let's see. Let's see here. Well, I'll tell you what, it all depends. Once again, we're a long way off. The Giants are number 8. The Patriots are number 1. Patriots don't need a quarterback. The next 3 or 4 teams or whatever, 5 or whatever after them need quarterbacks. The Patriots don't need a quarterback. That would be if they could fall back to number 8, the Giants would have to ante up a lot. I don't know if they're going to want to do that. But if there's somebody that Daboll sees there that he thinks is all that in a bag of chips, you get rid of Daniel Jones. We're going to go over him in the next portion of our program here. But, get a quarterback in that he can groom, that he feels confident of it. If there's somebody there that he really feels is that good, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, Mr. Mara. Oh, yeah. Mara makes a defiant statement on futures of Daboll and Joe Schoen. It was a close it was as close to a vote of confidence that the co-owner of a team at 2-5 and mired in last place could make. John Mara said Wednesday night that he has no plans to make a move now or in the immediate future with Giants general manager Joe Schoen or Brian Daboll, despite the continued struggles of a team that is losing games and making scoring points into a mission impossible. Dude, it is unbelievable. But obviously, we're all very disappointed with where we are right now, Mara said. But I'm going to say one thing. We are not making any changes this season, and I do not anticipate making any changes in the offseason either. I'm not going to dissect individual players' performances or the offense versus the defense or anything like that. I just wanted to make that statement. So, I got this here. Co-owners John Mara preaches patience with Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. Ooh. Even though the 2024 season is shaping up as another disappointing season for the Giants, yep, yes it is. It doesn't sound like co-owner John Mara will give unhappy fans their pound of flesh by firing head coach Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen. At a screening of the NFL Films piece, The Duke, about his father, Wellington Mara, John Mara told Judy Bautista of NFL Network that he does not anticipate making front office or coaching changes after the season. In the post-Tom Coughlin era, Daboll is the first head coach to last more than 2 seasons. Ben McAdoo, Shermer, and Joe Judge all received a quick hook from ownership. And you also figure, too, is that, you could even throw Spags in there, too. I mean, Spagnuolo was in there. Now, Spags, obviously, is a fantastic defensive coordinator. Not a good head coach. I mean, he had the reins with the Rams. I can't remember, was it 9 and 10, 09 and 10 or so, around there, and it was not very good. So that's why some guys are. Some guys are very good coordinators, like Shermer. Shermer was very good offensive coordinator, not a good head coach. But you figure if you go back to 2014 or 2015, right? 14, 15, 15, right? Right. That was that should have been Coughlin's last season, right? 16 and 17 was McAdoo. 18 and 19 was Shermer. 2021 was Judge. 22, 23, and 24 was Daboll. I mean, so you figure the past 10 years, we've had 5 coaches. And if you want to throw Spags in there as an interim coach, we've had 6 coaches. We've had 3 GMs. I mean, there's no consistency there. It's very, very difficult. And the other problem would be, is that Schoen and Daboll, they're trying to build a team. To me, the talent is getting better. Why they play against the Eagles like a bunch of kindergartners, right? But to me, the talent it's undeniable. I mean, to me, the talent is there, without question. The building, right? Obviously on offense, they lost Andrew Thomas. Right? You go back just to last year, we lost like 3 of our almost, you want to say, like the best players from the offense from last year. We added 1, but as of this second, we've lost 3 of our best players from offense from last year. We lost Andrew Thomas. He wasn't, but we lost Darren Waller, who may not have been the best, but he was always a mismatch out there, right? I mean, if his hamstrings were any good, right? And of course, we lost Saquon, right? So we did add Malik, right? But there's one consistent we keep. Daniel Jones is still there, and I'm sure he's not a Daboll kind of guy. You know what I mean? So, but I mean, it's very, 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 nice confidence booster. That at least they know they're not going to make any changes. Schoen and Daboll brought together, and obviously in 2022, they went 9-7-1, won the playoff game that year. They were 6-11 last year, and this year is off to a start. And they might even finish worse than they did last year. I mean, I don't know. They're gonna beat the Steelers. Steelers got a great defense. It's prime time. Daniel Jones doesn't win in prime time, and Steelers got Giants can't score a point, and the Steelers got a great defense. You tell me, right? The other problem is that, because you got, year 3, Schoen and Daboll. Now, this year, they did very well with their draft picks. Now, Muasau, he was just a late pick, right? 6th rounder. But Tracy looks, I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer, but for 5th round running back, right? They did pretty good. Theo Johnson, hopefully he'll work on his craft and get a little bit better, but he's a phenomenal athlete, right? Hopefully, he can work it, be a decent tight end. We could use a real good receiving tight end. That we could, receiving threat of a tight end that we could use. We had that with Waller, but the hamstrings. Schoen went out, traded away 3rd round pick. It's a shame because, we got Phillips in the 3rd round. Imagine if we had another 3rd round pick this year instead of trading it away for Waller. That wound up being a mistake. Schoen tried. If Waller was healthy and all that stuff and everything, we'd have a good receiving threat of a tight end out there. We'd have Malik Neighbors and Waller out there. Not bad. But, of course, Waller could not, and so, of course, is a 3rd round pick, right? We had Newman, Neighbors, and Phillip. So if we had another 3rd round pick, we'd have probably another really good player in the lineup. But it is what it is. So the one problem is that, these guys are trying to build a team. And of course, if you get rid of these guys, what's going to happen? The new GM, the new coach that come in, they're going to look at the roster and be like, these ain't my guys. Half of them I don't want. You know what I mean? Schoen and Daboll worked on trying to build this team and this, that, and they're adding to the team. It's not showing on the field, but, they're adding to the team, right? But I said, you got a new GM and all that coming in. I'm not saying they can't clean house, but, it's going to be a lot of guys on the roster. It's like, I don't know these guys. 53 of them. 40 of them I really don't want. They get rid of those 40 guys. They bring in their own guys. We stink for another couple years, and then they get rid of those guys, bring in a new GM and a coach, and they turn and look at the roster. Yeah, it's 53 guys, but about 40 of them there I don't want. So they get rid of those guys, bring in their own guys. We stink again for another. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Sometimes you might just have to bite the bullet for an extra couple of years or so. Especially because the problem is it's the biggest, most important position in all sports, the quarterback. And for 6 years now, we don't have the answer. And it's really difficult to win a Super Bowl or get a winning season or this, that, or the other thing if you don't have the answer at quarterback. And the Giants do not have the answer at quarterback. Plain and simple. Just hate to be mean about it. But, so I think in the long run, I think it's for the best. And they need to sit down and say, okay, we're getting rid of Daniel Jones. Okay, we need to go get a quarterback. Okay. All right, let's get a quarterback. All right, whatever, and then move forward from there. I said the problem is, if the Giants are drafting like 8, 9, 10, whatever, something like that, there's like 4 or 5 teams in front of them that need quarterbacks. Now, it doesn't mean you can't pick a quarterback number 10 or 15 that would be good. That doesn't mean that, but Pickens might get a little slim, once they start getting back to the, so. Well, we'll have to wait and see. The Giants can just keep bombing and they might be in the top 5 once again. Let's hope not, but we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, as of right now, the Patriots are number one, and the Patriots, they drafted May, so they do not need a quarterback. So, but speaking of quarterbacks, the Daniel Jones cap space ramifications. Oh, yeah. The good, the bad, the ugly of keeping Daniel Jones in there. Most of it's pretty ugly. Let me tell you what. I mean, because he's got that injury guarantee. I mean, especially if Shane and Daboll hear that from Mara, oh, we're safe. Okay, you know what I mean. That means we might have another chance. Maybe we can actually go out and get our own quarterback, right? And that too, right? Because if they get a quarterback next season, right? It's tough to grab a quarterback 1 year and then because then if you get rid of if you get rid of Shane and Daboll after next season, they just bring a quarterback in. I mean, that's almost like because it's the same thing. Bringing a new coach in. Oh, here's your quarterback. I don't want that quarterback. That's not my. So if Shane and Daboll come back next season, and if they can get a quarterback, right, you're almost buying themselves maybe 2 seasons, right? Because you have time to groom them, right? And then the second season, or by the end of the first season, or whatever, and into the second season, that's when you unleash the quarterback and let's see what he can do, right? So if they get a quarterback, they're almost buying themselves 2 years. But the thing is because if the Giants get rid of Daniel Jones, they'll be saving about $19 million in cap space. Now they have about $44 million, I think it is, going into the season next year. Obviously at what the cap space is going to be. So it's nothing solid. But they would save another $19 million if they got rid of Daniel Jones. So they would have over $60 million in cap space. I don't know what free agent quarterback they could get, or maybe Stafford. I don't know, but they could also, bring in a couple of nice little pieces as well too. They could also maybe extend a couple of the players, because I'm sure they're not re-signing or anything like that. Evan Neal, they would have to pick up the 5th-year option on Kayvon, right? But I don't know what's going on with Evan Neal there. But the Giants better start being able to learn how to draft offensive linemen, because they drafted McKeithen, they drafted Zudu, and they drafted Neal, and neither one can block their way out of a paper carton. Holy cow, Batman. They better. Whew, my goodness. Oh my God. But Daniel Jones, let's see here. Where are we at here? Whoop. All right. Giants running a costly risk by sticking with quarterback Daniel Jones. Per over the cap, the Giants have $48.153 million in total space and $30.382 million in effective space. Effective space being what they have left after signing 51 players and the projected rookie class, as per the top 51 rule. The top 51 guys counts toward the salary cap. Right. So they have $30 million basically as per over the cap. I do spot track. I can read it easier. But if we go by this, the Giants have 30.382 after they're signing their draft class, and they're signing all their other players to fill out the top 51. Let's see. That cap space currently ranks 19th in the league. Cutting a healthy Jones before March 15th, when $12 million of his base salary becomes guaranteed. So they want to cut him before March 15th. So if they do that, it will result in a $19.395 million, baby. Yeah. In savings, and $22.2 million in dead money. Now the Giants next year, according to Spot Track, have a little over $5 million in dead cap money. Almost 95% of that is from Darren Waller. So, I mean, other than Darren Waller, I mean, they got like almost no dead cap money. He's just Darren Waller, and it's one of those things. I mean, they knew his hamstrings were going to be whatever was going to be screwed up. They never would have traded for him. They knew he was going to retire. They never would have traded. It is what it is. Giants got screwed, and of course, it's a third-round draft pick. So it is what it is. But Shane tried. At the time, we brought in Darren Waller. It seemed like not bad, pretty good, right? But once again, it is what it is. But let's see. But if the Giants are on the hook for the injury guarantee, add $23 million to the dead money, and suddenly the Giants will be in the red, unable to find money to operate next offseason and beyond. So, I mean, but here with Spot Track, Spot Track's got them here at cap space. They got a 44.6. There's always a disparity between the two. Always a disparity between over the cap and Spot Track. I just go to Spot Track, but they say over the cap here. It says after the Giants sign their draft class and all their players to fill out the top 51, the Giants would have a little over $30 million in cap space. If the Giants cut Daniel Jones, according to this article, before March 15th, the Giants, there's $22 million in dead cap money, right? But you'd be cutting ties with Daniel Jones. But they'd be saving a little over $19 million. So they'd have about $50 million in cap space next season. Not bad. Wouldn't be bad. Of course, we would need a quarterback, but just a little detail. But we'd have $50 million. We can bring in, another one or so studs, or right, to help fill out the roster. But I'm saying, that would be signing all the top 51 on our roster, and that would be signing our draft class. So, the Giants certainly, obviously on the to-do list would be getting a quarterback. Now, what's it going to be? Do we try to go out and get a Tannehill or a Stafford or something like that? Bring them in on a friendly deal. Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. 20 million a year. Whatever. I don't know. And then try to draft a quarterback and have them, have the Tannehill, Stafford, whatever, take the reins for a year or so while they got the guy on the sideline, grooming the guy on the sideline, right, waiting for him to come in. Right? That might be one of the options. I said right now. So if you look at, it's a long way to go. But I said if you look at the draft order, a lot of the teams in front of the Giants need quarterbacks. So. The one thing is that, I said before, team number one is the Patriots. They don't need a quarterback. Now, it would cost a lot for the Giants to jump up, from 8 to 1. Once again, it's as of right now. After week 18, everything's going to be totally changed, but I'm saying as of right now. It cost the Giants quite a bit to jump up from 8 to 1, but, if Daboll can get his guy, right? He'd have no more excuses, right? So I mean, because you can just say that I'm sure Daniel Jones is just not a Daboll guy. So now you got the what do they do, right? Do they ride out Daniel Jones for another 4 or 5 games? Say we're 3-8, somewhere along the line. Are we going to give Drew Lock a chance? Put him in there for a game or two, right? Let him, unfortunately, maybe stink up the joint. Now we're at week 13, so give the last 4 games of the season to Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan. And see, this is, he keeps learning the system. Put him out there, see what he can do. Can he be maybe the backup for the Giants for next season, or maybe the third string quarterback again? I mean, so. But the Giants are, because you can see He said there's a $23 million guarantee. He said the Giants have like $30 million in cap space. If he gets injured, he can't pass a physical next season. There's another $23 million, I think. It's going to go. The Giants got to pay another $23 million. They got to pay, and the Giants are not going to have much money at all. So, I mean, you can see, where's that fine line at, right? Where's the point? You don't want to say they're giving up on the season. Certainly don't want to say that. They're not going to say that to the fans. They're not going to say that to the, what I mean? But, and also it's kind of like they're saying it to the locker room as well. Too. Well, we're going to make a coach. I'm not coaching. We're going to make a quarterback change. The guys in the locker room are kind of looking around like, we're throwing in the towel, right? The season over with. So it's a very, it's going to be a fine line, very, very fine line. So if and when that winds up happening, we'll have to wait and see. But it's a lot to think about with Daniel Jones. It's just not, it's just not, this season. It's got a lot to do with next season too. I mean, because if he winds up getting injured, especially because we got a weak offensive line, and he gets his neck injured again, he tears his ACL or something like that, and he can't pass a physical, man, we pretty screwed next season. So, it's we got a bad offensive line, as we saw against the Eagles, can't protect. The Pittsburgh Steelers, are you kidding me? They're foaming at the freaking mouth, waiting again. They're like each guy on the front wall is like, man, I'm going to get about 8 or 9 sacks this week against the Giants. They can't wait for Daniel Jones to come in. So if he gets injured and he can't play next year, especially or early on, or what, I mean, it's going to cost the Giants dearly, dearly. All right. Well, Boogeyman went bye-bye. But we did add a D tackle. So, I mean, Booga Basham, right? He never really materialized. I mean, it was kind of some hopes. I mean, he was a high draft pick, right? Coming in. You kind of hope maybe he could find a spot, but get a role, maybe if he would dress, maybe you get some chances and all. It's the same thing we had with Buffalo, just never really materialized. I mean, it is what it is. Some guys works out, some guys does, some guys don't. Maybe Boogie will get cut, maybe he'll go someplace else and they'll find a role for him. But it just didn't work out. It is what it is. I mean, there's so many guys. It's just after a while, it's like your head spins. Guys coming and going. You need a scorecard to keep track of all this stuff. But the Giants, they wound up adding the Armand Watts. Now, Armand's been around. What is he? He's not real old. So he's 28, 6'5", 307. He was a 6th-round pick, though, right? I mean, what was it? Was this last year? Yeah, last year. Well, let me share my screen here. I mean, we'll see. Well, yeah. Let's see here. If I can. Oh, there we go. Right. So. Yeah, I mean, last year. This is what he did last year. 77.3 overall. He was only in it for 286 snaps. So nothing. He wasn't like a starter. He didn't play every down. Yada yada yada. I mean, you look here. What do you have? 34 snaps was his high against Houston, week 4. He had 28 snaps against Jacksonville, 27 here against Cleveland, 22 against Arizona, 22 against Green Bay. So. He was a sub. Guys needed a break. He went in there, right? I mean, he didn't do too bad overall. 77.3. His run defense 75.2. His tackling, need a little bit, a little bit to be desired. He missed some tackles, but his pass rush is 65.6. I mean, look at it like this. I mean, he had 17 pressures. Pass rush, right? 155 snaps. He had 17 pressures. So that's about 1 out of every 9 pass rushing pass rushing snaps that he participated in. He got a pressure. That was last year. Not too shabby. But, I mean, once again, that was with Pittsburgh. Okay. I mean, if you got real good players around you, that's going to free you up, right? That's going to make you look better, right? But I mean, didn't do too bad last year, right? If we look here, but then if you go back, all right. So that was with Pittsburgh. Let's go the year before. A little bit different here. All right, a little bit different here. Let's see. He was with Chicago. You see here, he graded out a 49.2. Once again, his tackling needs a little bit to be desired. Not super spectacular. He had some good. He had a 60 here, 64, 65, 65 overall, a 75, 63. Not bad. But he also had a couple of clunkers here. He had a 29, a 38, right? He had some 40s in there. So you got the good and the bad, right? Let's see where we at here. Now, looks like, he might be a 3 technique or a nose tackle. So he can maybe relieve Nacho. He can relieve, he can relieve Sexy, right? So let's go. Let's see, where was he at? Let's try, we got 2021. Let's go back one more season here, right? 2021. This is with Minnesota. And I say he's bouncing around a little bit here, right? He graded out a 61.6 overall. Now, here he played a bunch of snaps, 669. He had 33 pressures. Not too bad. He had 414 pass rushing snaps, and he had 33 pressures. So, I mean, that's like 1 out of every 13 or so, pass rushing attempts. He got a pressure. It's still not too bad. On 1 out of every 13, I mean, if he played every snap, he would have 2 or 3 pressures every game. Well, that's not too bad. That's not a world beater, but that's not too bad. What do he have? He had 5 sacks, according to PFF here. Right? So, right. Not a horrible pickup. Not a horrible pickup. 6'5", 307. Now, he's not going to be much of a nose tackle at 300 pounds, but it is what it is. But then again, he's a 6th-round pick. Right? He was what with Minnesota, Chicago, and Pittsburgh. Right? So I mean, but obviously, this with him on a Watt, right? This is his 4th team in 4 years, right? Minnesota, Chicago, Pittsburgh, now the Giants. So in 4 years, he's been on 4 different teams. So once again, you got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt, but. I said it didn't work out for the boogeyman, but I'll have to wait and see what Mr. Armin Watts can wind up doing there. Basham had 0 pressures across 95 pass rushing snaps as a Giant. I mean, that's just, it's like, Jiminy Crickets. Giants wave edge rusher Boogie Basham on Tuesday, according to Jeremy Fowler. Acquired Basham from the Bills, right? Late 2003 for a 2025 late round pick swap. Basham played 194 snaps last season and just 16 snaps, all in week 6 against the Bengals this year. Obviously, Joe Schoen was on the Bills staff when he drafted Basham out of Wake Forest in the 2nd round. So there was the familiarity there. So you're kind of hoping that maybe, Shane was familiar with him, but I mean, they picked him in the 2nd round and they wound up swapping late round picks just to get the guy. So things were really not working out too well for him in Buffalo, and they worked out probably even worse here with the Giants. He just never carved out a role for himself. So to fill the roster spot vacated, let's say the Giants signed veteran defensive tackle Armon Watts from their practice squad to the 53-man roster. So Watts 6'5", 307 pounds, nice length. He's in his 6th NFL season. He was added to the practice squad last week, so they brought him up, elevated him from the practice squad. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Now, once again, just because they added Watts to the 53 does not mean he's going to dress, because you got 50. I mean, they don't dress 53 guys, so they elevated him. So we'll have to wait and see. Keep an eye on him. But once again, every team does it. Every team picks up guys. They take flyers on guys, takes a chance on guys, and sometimes it works out. Sometimes it don't. For the boogeyman, just didn't work out. So we'll have to see Armon Watts. As some of those numbers there's some nice little potential there, right? But once again, he for the most part, he's just somebody who goes in and relieves Nacho. Or Sexy Dexy. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, then. What did the Giants learn from the Eagles and the Cowboys? Oh, yeah. And it's been pretty much going on, for quite a few years here. Quite a few years. And it was, over the past couple of weeks, when we played the Cowboys, was with the past 4 games, we played with the Cowboys and the Eagles, right? So, I mean, it's very, very evident. Right? It's a big boy league. Plain and simple. Big boy league. We were able to shut down the Eagles' passing attack. I think Hurts was 10 out of 14 or 10 out of 15. It's after, he didn't pass the ball 30, 40 times, but he didn't have to. But I mean, we sacked him like 1 out of every 4 times he went back to pass. I think he went back to pass like 20 times. We had 5 sacks. So we did a really nice job, pressure on them, getting pressure on them and all that and everything like that. But once again, it was kind of immaterial. Why? Because once again, the Eagles just ran all over us. When push came to shove, we were able to get some pressure on them and sack Hurts and all that stuff and everything. And, but, when it came time, they had 269 yards rushing against us. That's pathetic, absolutely pathetic. And the Eagles were without Kelsey, their future Hall of Fame center, and Malata, their left tackle. Those guys weren't there. Malata's out; he was injured, and their Hall of Fame center retired. And they still, I mean, the guy they had replaced Malata was not very good, not a very good pass protector, good at pass protection. He's decent at run blocking, as we saw. But as I said, I mean, you go back a couple of years ago, like the first year that the Giants played the Eagles, I forgot how many yards the Eagles had like 400 something rushing yards against the Giants. Oh, it's there. I mean, this is ungodly. I mean, all right, let's see here. Let's see. 2022 New York Giants. Let's see. How many yards did they give up against the Eagles here rushing? Let's see here. The Giants gave up against the Eagles rushing. Giants gave up 253. And then, okay, so both games in the one here, the Eagles here, the Eagles, when they beat us 48-22, they had 253 yards rushing. and they had 268 in the playoff game. So in those 2 games, they had over 500 yards rushing. The playoff game and the 1 game here. They had over 500 yards rushing in 2 games. Yeah, that can't happen. It just cannot happen. You need to have a front. Yeah, that just, Sexy takes up blockers. Whoever else you got's got to consume blockers, and then your linebackers behind. You got to set the edge or what. It can't happen. It's the same thing here. The thing is that there was multiple things that made this so embarrassing. It's the Eagles. They beat you 28-3 at home. They don't have a great defense. You couldn't even score a touchdown. They beat you 28-3 at home. I mean, then of course to make matters worse, they said the 269 yards rushing is just a joke. That's like high school level kind of crap. I mean, that's just total trash. Absolute total trash. Then of course to make matters worse, Saquon Barkley just ran up. Make it even more of a joke, right? Then the other thing is that what they learned from the Cowboys, right? Is that once one of those head scratchers once again. The Giants playing the Cowboys going into that game. The Cowboys were giving up like 185 yards a game rushing, right? And just all of a sudden, the Cowboys couldn't stop anybody. But sure, when they played the Giants 24 rushes, 26 yards. It's like, are you kidding me? We averaged 1 yard a carry against the Cowboys. They were giving up. I mean, to be fair, the 1 game they gave up a ton to the Ravens because they got Jackson, right, and Henry. 2 freaking studs, who can run the ball, they can run the lights out of the ball, right? But I mean, so they had some problems stopping the run before that too, and we averaged 1 yard a carry, guys. Are you kidding me? I mean, then what was it? It was last year, right? The first game of the season. That's when they had a bunch of sacks. The guy said we couldn't stop anybody, right? And it was so bad. They had one of their, I don't remember who it was, one of their defensive linemen. There was a camera guy behind, I don't know if it was NFL Films or it was from the network or whatever, filming the guy, and they're on the sideline. I think I remember. I think the shot was that the Cowboys, the defenders, had their backs to the camera. They were sitting down like they're sitting on the bench. So the guy's behind the bench, looking out toward the field. But there was one defender, talking to the guys. He's like Oprah Winfrey. You get a sack, and you get a sack, and you get a sack. And they were making fun. It was like a joke. I mean, and we couldn't stop them. Couldn't stop their. They got good. But we couldn't stop them. It was comical. It was horrible. But fast forward to this year, right? They don't have a great defensive line, and we couldn't run. 1 yard a carry, 24 carries for 26 yards. All starts in the trenches. If you can't, I mean, we stopped their. We can't say really stopped their passing. They didn't have to pass. Right? They didn't really have to pass. And I said, against the Cowboys, we couldn't run the ball. And said last year we couldn't stop their pass rushes. It all starts in the trenches. I said, the problem is that like next year is if we need to get a quarterback early on, right? I've been kind of banging the drums, we need somebody next to Sexy. Let's get another, big time stud next to Sexy, right? Maybe we can draft a quarterback in the second round. Who knows? That maybe Daboll thinks he can groom, right? That's possible. You never know. But let's get somebody else, another immovable object or something, whatever, on that defensive wall. Because we can't have this, man. You can't have that. You need to dominate up front. I mean, if you take their passing game away, that's great, But I mean, if you can't stop the run, you know how embarrassing that is. Right? It's the same. Likewise, if you can't run the ball, right? So it's what we almost year in and year out. What we've learned from the Eagles and the Cowboys. It all starts in the trenches. And once again, the Giants spend a lot of money on the offensive line, which it's gotten better. It's certainly not as bad as it was last year. That's for sure. We're not on pace for 85 sacks. Okay, so we're certainly getting better. And of course, once again, losing Andrew Thomas does not help. Maybe one of these years he can stay healthy. But, losing Andrew Thomas certainly does not help. So, but the offensive line has been better. Right? And this is the first year these guys are working together. And hopefully maybe by the end of the season, if they can remain healthy, maybe, our biggest thing is who the heck are we going to put in there at left tackle to take Andrew Thomas's spot. But, and on the defensive front, we got the edge rushers, we got Sexy Dexy. Man, if we can get somebody else in there, a stud in there, a defensive tackle in there, man, that'd be special. As I said, the problem is that, if you're going to be drafting a quarterback early, or especially if you it is what I mean, if they're taking a quarterback in the first round, right? Are you going to let one fall to you? Are you going to let 5 or 6 quarterbacks go in front of you and hope one falls to you that you like? Or are you going to go up, maybe jump up and try to grab one? If you do that, it's going to cost you, obviously. Maybe the Giants can do it where it's like, well, I'll tell you what, we want to keep our second round pick this year. We'll give you our second round pick next or something like that. So we'll have to wait and see. But, man, I would love if we get a nice stud. I mean, the Giants have done well. If you go back to like 2000, Cornelius Griffin, right? The Giants have done very well picking like defensive tackles like Dalvin Tomlinson. Maybe not the greatest pass rusher in the world, but pretty good run. I mean, tell you what, the one year when we had Sexy, we had Leo the Lion, and we had Dalvin Tomlinson, right? For that 1 year, we had that was a good run defense we had there. Very good run defense. So if we can keep our second round pick next year, I said if we're going to take a quarterback in the first, whatever, but if early on in the draft, if we can get a nice or if we got some money to spend, if you can go out there in free agency and bring in a stud defensive tackle, right? I'm all for it, man. But it all starts in the trenches. If we learn this year in and year out from the Eagles and the Cowboys. And as you say, we try as we might, we're still not catching up to these guys. They're just totally embarrassed. Year in and year out, it all starts in the trenches. And once again, we keep learning from, I said, the Eagles and the Cowboys. We keep trying, but we're not catching up to them. I said 269 yards rushing against us is just totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. But speaking about who's going to replace Andrew Thomas, well, they got something. I mean, I did a video there was an article out there. I was talking about Bakhtiari. He was injured last year, and, he's out there. He's a free agent. Now, once again, obviously, I or anybody else ain't telling Shane nothing. He knows that Bakhtiari's out there, but I guess I don't know. Maybe his injury maybe he's not. I don't know. Maybe he wants too much money. If he's talking to his agent, maybe he's still not ready. Whatever. But the Giants are trying. But I mean, they're after watching the Zudu. I mean, I guess it just wasn't working out. And I why Evan Neal is not even on the field at all. I don't even think he's had a snap yet this season, even on special teams. Are you kidding me? The guy can't even make on special. He can't field goal kicking. I mean, he can't be one of the guys. What? Huh? Pick 7, and the guy can't even make it on the field? Are you Kidding me? Wow. I mean, that was like three apparently disastrous picks. McKeithen, Zudo, and Neal. Wow. I keep saying, why don't we try Neal inside and as a guard? Right? But whatever. It is what it is. But the Giants, they're, working out former first-round pick DJ Humphries after a disastrous offensive line showing. Now, do I got him? Yes, I do. Now, he's been around for a little while, Mr. Humphries here. He's, let's see here if I can, let's see here. Pop him up here. Where is Mr. Humphries at here? Oh, there he is. Here we go. Let's pop him up here. Now, he's been around. Seems what? He'll be 31 in December, 3 days after Christmas. So before the year's over, he'll be 31. 6'5", right? Nice height. Hopefully he's got the length in that and all that. He's only 307 pounds. The first round pick. But, I mean, if you notice, he's been around for a little while, right? 2016, right? So, 2016. Oh, actually, my bad. He got 2015. He was drafted in 2015 by the Cardinals, but he didn't start playing until 2015. I'm sorry, 2016. Let me see. What was it here? Oh, and then also, when he did start 2016, the first year, first 10 games he played. Pop this up here. This is 26. Nope. Go back to 2016 here. 2015, he didn't have any snaps. But if you'll notice here, 2016, the first year he played, right? The first 10 games, he was right tackle. Then the last 3 games he played of the season, he took over for somebody. I'm going to read this. He took over for somebody at left tackle, and ever since then, he's been a left tackle. So he played right tackle for 10 games. 7, 8, 9 years ago. Ever since then, he's been strictly a left tackle. But let's see. He started his rookie season as the Cardinals' 3rd right tackle on their depth chart. So I don't understand. I mean, they drafted this dude in the first round. Oh, and this is interesting too about his rookie season. They drafted the guy in the first round, and he wound up being their 3rd string right tackle. I mean, talking about missing. Holy cow. He was behind 2 veterans. During his rookie season, he was inactive for all 16 games. The dude was picked number 24 in the draft, and he was inactive for the whole freaking season. And he was the only first-round draft pick in 2015 to be inactive for the entire season. I mean, you wonder why the Cardinals just stink every year. They draft a dude in the first round, and he's inactive the all year long. It's like, are you kidding me? He was the 3rd string right tackle. Holy cow. Talking about swinging and missing. Wow. He began his 2nd season with the Cardinals. Humphries was named the starting right tackle to begin the regular season. Let's see. He had his professional debut and first career start in the Cardinals' season opening game against the Patriots. Let's see. November 27th, he made his first career start at left tackle. The starting left tackle suffered a torn tricep, and Humphries wound up replacing him. Unfortunately, though, on December 11th, Humphries suffered a concussion during the first half of their game against the Dolphins. Then Humphries entered the 2017 season as the Cardinals' starting left tackle. He suffered an MCL sprain, and he missed the next 4 games. So he's had some injuries. On April 24, 2018, the Cardinals picked up his 5th-year option. He started the first 9 games at left tackle before suffering a knee injury. On February 17, 2020, Humphries signed a 3-year deal with the Cardinals. On August 2nd, 2022, Humphries signed another 3-year deal extension. November 26, 2022, Humphries was placed on the injury reserve with a back injury. On March 13, 2024, Humphries was released by the Cardinals after 9 seasons. So he's been with them for 9 seasons, but he's had a lot of experience, but he's also had some injuries as well too. Let's see. This is 2016. This is his first year he played. But once it was almost. I was reading that. I was almost like laughing. It's like no wonder why these teams stink. It's like you pick a guy to be like number 24, and he's like your 3rd string right tackle. It's like, are you kidding? And he's inactive. He didn't play a snap his rookie season. Oh my God. But this was last season, right? 2023. 922 snaps altogether. Graded out of 62.5. His pass block was a 68.4. His run block is 56.5. So, not super horrible. His year before in 2022, he graded out of 72.3, 67.8. 2020, COVID year, he graded out of 88.3. His run block was a 90.8. 79.9. But his pass blocking's not been bad. Not bad at all. Not too bad. His first season he played is 68.3. Then he went up to an 81.7, to 70.1, to 64.5, to 88.3. So, he's had some decent, right? The one nice thing is now is that, how much football shape is he in if they were to sign him? I haven't seen any news that they've signed him at all or anything like that. But they did bring him in, so they're trying. But if they did bring him in and play him, he might be on some type of a pitch count for the first game or two or whatever. But they are trying. It's just how much of this is also. It's like we need, if we're going to put Daniel Jones in there, we need to protect this guy, right? And we're not protecting him with a Zudo. We may not be protecting him with Neal. I mean, the thing is that if you slide Illuminor over and you put Neal in there at right tackle, it might be just the same thing as having a Zudo at left tackle, right? So the Giants are trying to bring Humphries in, and once again, I saw this yesterday. So once again, they didn't sign him. Did they bring him in and they're going to keep in touch with contact? I don't know, but said Bakhtiari's still out there, right? Humphries is out there. Now, I don't know if the Giants are going to try to bring these guys in just for this season. They're going to bring Humphries in, right? Maybe sign him to a couple-year deal, right? We got Illuminor. We got Thomas. Hey, Humphries, hey, you want to be our backup? We'll pay whatever. Sign to a couple-year deal. At least now we know we have a decent backup in case Andrew Thomas gets injured again, or if Illuminor gets injured, at least we know we have a decent backup. Because with Neal and Azudu, it's like almost like a turnstile out there. And they said, the one thing that's really, really huge here is that Daniel Jones, you got to protect him. Because I said if he gets injured and he can't pass a physical next season, that's a $23 million mistake that's going to come out of the salary cap, and that's really going to handcuff the Giants next season as far as trying to bring anybody in. And the Giants don't need that. As we say, the Giants still have some holes. Right? We got some money to spend next season, right? We got another draft class coming in, right? If we can hit on a couple more picks, man, that'd be fantastic. Add another 2 or 3 guys to the roster we have, man, that'd be fantastic. We got might have $50 million or so to spend in free agency. And you can bring in a couple nice studs. I mean, you hit on the 2 or 3 of your top picks, bring in another 1 or 2 studs, add another 5 guys to the roster, because we're not really losing a lot of guys. I mean, I think McCann, obviously Dory Jackson, but maybe Pinnock. I mean, there's not a lot of guys. I mean, there's Ojulari. We would want to get another edge rusher in here. If Ojulari is going to be gone, I mean, but there's not really a ton of guys, really valuable guys that we're going to be losing in free agency. So, anybody we can add would be a huge plus. I said, but, if we are going to go and get Daniel Jones, obviously we're not trying to, I'm saying, but if we're going to get Daniel Jones injured because we can't block him, I said, that's $23 million that we're going to go against the salary cap. And it's $23 million quite possibly in players that we can't bring in. Wow. But, as we saw, they're bringing in Humphreys, right? Seeing where it might go from there. Hopefully we can sign him. That would be absolutely fantastic because quite possibly, Humphreys is a much better option for the Giants than either a Zudu or Neal. So, all right, guys, been 1 hour and 11 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!